Eagle Nation, it is officially training camp week. We will be diving into all the coverage as the week progresses. The players set to report tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have a lot to get into. In the meantime, though, we have an interesting nugget about the Tush Push, aka the brotherly shove. Let me tell you something. If people don't like it already, they are going to absolutely despise it now. So we'll talk about that and a couple main storylines from Eagles training camp. But welcome on into A to Z Philly. Do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Helps us out tremendously. Be sure to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of the videos. Let me ask you, Eagle Nation, drop your comments down below. What do you think are the most important storylines heading into Eagles training camp? Like I said, it's going to get very interesting in a couple days. We'll start to see some of these positional battles and how the team is being ran and really just get an idea of what's going on. But in the meantime, tomorrow, the players are set to report, and we will get to hear from some guys like Nick Sirianni, probably Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, Jalen Hurts, I'm assuming. So we will see what happens there. But I want to start it off with our guy, Landon Dickerson, because he actually went out and did a little team bonding activity. He built a slip and slide and had his Eagle teammates over before training camp begins. So shout out, I'm guessing that's his wife and Jake Elliott, for putting this on Instagram, just having a good time, right? Building some of that team chemistry. That's definitely one thing that I'll be looking for as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Going through the drills and all that stuff is great. But how are these guys bonding together? What are the vibes like of this team? Because last season obviously ended in total disappointment. We need to see a new rejuvenated life, new energy from this Eagle squad. So shout out to Landon Dickerson. And also, one other note to keep your eyes on, shout out to Jake Rabatti putting this on Twitter. Eagles are going with a heavier practice schedule to begin training camp this year. 10 practices in 16 days and 6 non-practice days before the preseason opener. Last year, it was 9 practices in 17 days. So one less day and one more practice. We did hear them talk about this a few weeks ago. They are trying to ramp it up a little bit. People have gotten on Nick Sirianni and others before for letting them kind of just go a little too easy here in the month of July and August. So I'll be interested to see, how this team progresses, right? You don't want any big injuries or anything like that, but it seems like they're trying to really ramp up quick here. And like I said, tomorrow will be the media stuff, and Wednesday kicks off the first Eagles practice. We'll be covering it right here on the show. Couple main storylines I'm looking for. One, the cornerback battle, right? Who wins that second slot, that second job? Will it be Quinyon Mitchell? Probably, but how will he come out and play alongside Darius Slay? What happens with James Bradbury? He's still here technically, but is he even going to show up? Like, what's going to happen with Bradbury? Maybe they use him to build value and then trade him. So that's really the main thing I'll be looking at in terms of that secondary. Also, I'll be keeping my eyes on right guard. Will it be Tyler Steen? We've heard a lot of buzz around Mekhi Becton. Maybe he could come out and steal the job away. So definitely keeping my eyes on that, as well as Cam Jurgens on the offensive line. And lastly, I would just say the overall kind of power dynamic. Will the coaches be out there and be involved? The Kellen Moores, Vic Fangios, will Nick Sirianni have a lot of say in everything? Will he actually do what he is going to say he'll do and delegate to these guys? What are the overall vibes like? Does Jalen Hurts, seem to be going through his motions the right way? And how is the vibe? How's the connection with Nick and the rest of the offense? So those are the things I'll be looking at. If you have any others, drop them down below in the comments section, but really excited for Eagles training camp. Now, Eagles running back coach Jamal Singleton was on a podcast with the British Eagles, and he says that Jalen Carter, Jordan Mailata, and Jordan Davis have all, quote, been in his ear about wanting to take snaps as a running back in short yardage situations. So if the Eagles pissed everybody off last year with the tush push, or like we call it, the brotherly shove, and people were complaining and they're filing notices to the league, oh, the Eagles are terrible and they're not even good and they're just cheating, even though it is a legal formation. But the Eagles are doing something so unfair because we can't do it, right? The first team that pops in my head is the stinking Giants. They come out and they try it after barely practicing, and they start to get injured. Some guys went down with injury, and then they complain because they couldn't convert it, that the Eagles are cheaters and that this shouldn't be allowed, et cetera, et cetera. And the Eagles had one of the best fourth down percentages all time because of the tush push. So if you can't stop Jalen Hurts, who can probably squat, 500-600 pounds, what are you going to say when Jalen Carter or Jordan Mailata's in there, right? Like Eagles Fan Central says here, if you thought you saw the NFL in shambles over the tush push, wait until we hand it off to a 6'8", 365-pound rugby star. Now, look, is this realistic? Do I think this is going to happen? Probably not, right? You don't want to risk injury to Jalen Carter, Jordan Mailata, and Jordan Davis. But just for the simple fact of pissing other teams off, you probably know there's executives around the league right now who saw this tweet, and they're probably going right to the NFL. Like, are you kidding me? You're going to let the Philadelphia Eagles get away with this again, right? Because it's not illegal now. They didn't ban it. It's still there, and the Eagles are still going to dominate. So let other teams try to come up with ways to stop it. That's the simple matter of it. I mean, nobody could stop it because Jalen Hurts and the most lethal offensive line in the NFL knows how to convert the play, right? You have a competitive advantage. You know how to do it. They can't stop it. Keep doing it until they can stop it. Simple as that. So, look, I hope the Eagles continue to do it. Obviously, you could also say you don't want to risk injury to Jalen Hurts, and that's definitely true. But I feel like the Birds have mastered it. Now, it would be hilarious to see Mailata out there, in a 4th and 1, maybe a 4th and goal, and let him punch it in for a touchdown. Again, I don't think it's going to happen unless they get completely desperate. And if that's all you can draw up on 4th down, then we might have to have another conversation about the offensive identity of this team. But nonetheless, the Eagles are still going to be able to convert the tush push this year until teams find a way to stop it. But I do think it is interesting that other players are now trying to chime in. Maybe it was more of a joking manner, like, yo, just let us get in for a couple snaps and try it, whatever. But at the end of the day, Eagles seem to be having a good time. I like the connection here with some of these coaches. And if the Birds ever did try this, right, the NFL should be scared. Because if they can't stop Jalen Hurts, what makes you think they're going to stop some of these other guys? Listen, man, training camp coming up tomorrow. A lot to get into. Excited to see what this team can do going into the preseason. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Give me all your thoughts.
Welcome to BetMGM Live Dealer. All your favorite casino games, blackjack, poker, roulette, craps, and more. All on your phone, desktop, or tablet 24/7. Play with friends or make new ones at the tables.
Double down, Dave.
Chat with players and live dealers like you're at the casino.
Give me a 10. Yes!
Now you're betting with the king of Live Dealer.